In this video, we'll be taking a look at one NFL game happening on January 12th, 2025, and providing you with a free team pick and total pick for this game, so 2 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on this one NFL game after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Houston Texans versus Pittsburgh Steelers. We start with how this matchup looks against the spread before worrying about how many points are scored overall. The Pittsburgh Steelers come in at 10-7 on the season, finishing first in the American Football Conference North, which sounds solid on paper even if it never really felt dominant. They posted a 9-8 mark against the spread, went 10-7 on over and under results, and split their home and road profile with a 6-3 record at Acrisure Stadium and a 4-4 record away from it. They are coming off a tight 26-24 home win against the Ravens, a result that felt more like survival than a statement. On the other side, the Houston Texans finished 12-5 and slotted in second in the American Football Conference South, but that record tells you they played like anything but a typical second-place team. They were excellent at the window with a 12-5 record against the spread, leaned under with a 6-11 over and under record, and owned a strong split profile, going 7-1 at home and 5-4 on the road. They enter this game off a 38-30 home win over the Colts, another reminder that they can both score and close when the game tightens up. Houston comes into the playoffs as the hottest team in the league, riding a 9-game winning streak that has completely changed how the market and fans talk about them. That surge has not been confined to home comforts either, as the Texans have gone 5-1 in their past 6 road contests, which matters when you walk into a place like Acrisure where the towels are waving and the crowd is loud even before kickoff. The Steelers, by contrast, had to beat the Ravens just to punch their ticket, finishing 10-7 and never really separating themselves as elite in any single area. Their offense sits 15th, which lands them squarely in the middle of the league, and their scoring defense ranks 17th, another middle-of-the-pack marker that fits the eye test. It is the kind of profile where you feel like they are always working hard, but rarely taking over a game. Houston presents a very different picture on that side of the ball. The Texans carry a passing offense that should thrive behind C.J. Stroud, especially against a Pittsburgh pass defense that has been shaky all year. The Steelers are giving up an average of 243 passing yards per game, which places them 29th in the league, and that is not the ranking you want when a confident young quarterback walks in looking to attack downfield. The matchup flips just as sharply when Pittsburgh has the ball. The Steelers lean on their passing offense with Aaron Rodgers running the show, yet they are facing a Houston secondary that is anything but friendly. The Texans' pass defense ranks 6th in the NFL, and this group has allowed the fewest yards in the league overall, which speaks to a defense that tackles, communicates, and usually forces you to earn every yard the hard way. So while Pittsburgh prefers to live through the air, this is exactly where Houston is strongest, which sets up a stylistic clash that clearly favors the visitors. If you zoom out to the larger defensive picture, Houston's case becomes even stronger from a side perspective. The Texans ride that 9-game win streak into the postseason with the second-best scoring defense in the league, and they also rank second in defensive DVOA and second in EPA per play allowed. That is not a fluke week-to-week heater. It is a season-long body of work that reflects smart scheming and consistent execution. That same unit is likely to cause constant problems for Rodgers and this Steelers offense. Rodgers still brings veteran poise and experience, but the numbers recently tell a more modest story. Stroud closed the regular season 10th in EPA plus CPOE composite while piling up the 7th most air yards, and he posted 7.4 yards per attempt over the final 6 weeks. Over that same stretch, Rodgers ranked 19th and 20th in those efficiency metrics and managed only 6.5 yards per attempt, which quietly undercuts the idea that the quarterback edge is clearly on the home sideline. There is also the question of how Pittsburgh has fared when stepping up in class. The Steelers have not beaten a postseason-bound team since their Week 3 win over the Patriots, and in that game Rodgers threw for only 139 yards, while Pittsburgh was outgained by 166 total yards. That kind of performance might work in September against a flawed opponent, but it is not a promising template against a red-hot playoff-caliber defense. Now, the situation of a home underdog in the playoffs is always tempting, and the Steelers do carry some appeal in that role. Rodgers has plenty of playoff experience, the return of DK adds a familiar and trusted target, and at Chrysler Stadium is not a friendly stop for visiting teams, especially when the weather is rough and the crowd is restless. Honestly, that narrative will speak to a lot of bettors who enjoy taking a tough home team getting points. Even so, Pittsburgh's offensive issues keep popping up. They have struggled to run the ball, Rodgers can look a bit slow in the pocket at times, and the wide receivers have had trouble creating separation consistently. Now they face a Texans defense that ranks first in total defense and second in scoring defense, which is basically the worst possible recipe if your attack already feels stuck in second gear. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's own defense does not resemble the classic bruising versions from years past. This group ranks 26th in total defense, 29th against the pass, and 17th in scoring, so they give up yards and chunk plays, then try to tighten in the red zone. Against a confident offense like Houston's, that bend-but-hope style can backfire if the big plays keep coming. So when you stack all of this together, it sets up as a spot where Houston's defense can feast and bully the Steelers over 4 quarters. It might turn into a grind at times, and it might not look pretty snap to snap, but the Texans clearly have the best unit on the field by a wide margin, and that usually matters over 60 minutes against the spread. As our first pick for this matchup, the Houston Texans to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Pittsburgh's offense averages 23.4 points per game, which places them 15th in the league, and that matches their general vibe as a middle-tier attack that can score but rarely explodes. Defensively, they allow 22.8 points per game, ranking 17th, so opponents have usually found ways to put up a respectable number on them. The yardage splits tell the same steady but unspectacular tale. The Steelers average 305.6 total yards per game, with 202.4 through the air and 103.3 on the ground. On defense, they give up 357 total yards per contest, allowing 113.1 rushing yards and 243.9 passing yards. There is nothing in that statistical profile that screams shutout potential, and there are a few pieces that hint at a game with real scoring windows. Houston's numbers are a little more assertive. Offensively, the Texans score 23.8 points per game, which is good for 13th in the league, and they often feel like they have another gear when Stroud is dealing. Defensively, they give up only 17.4 points per game, ranking second, which is why odds makers are comfortable posting a relatively low total. In terms of yardage, Houston averages 327 total yards per game, with 218.1 passing and 108.9 rushing, while allowing only 277.2 total yards per game, with 93.7 on the ground and 183.5 through the air. Despite that strong defensive profile, there are signs pointing toward a higher scoring game than the raw total suggests. During their 9-game winning streak, the Texans averaged 26.2 points per game, which reflects sustained offensive rhythm rather than one or two outlier performances. When a team is consistently scoring in the mid-20s, the bar for an over on a modest playoff total is not that high, as long as the opponent can contribute a bit. The perception of the Pittsburgh defense can also be a little misleading. There is a lot of smoke and mirrors in their numbers, as they allowed the 17th most points per game at 22.8, ranked 19th in EPA allowed, and 21st in yards per play allowed. Those metrics suggest that opposing offenses have moved the ball and scored at a rate that is very compatible with an over, especially when facing an efficient passing attack. Their performance against quality opponents strengthens that idea. Pittsburgh has struggled against good teams and surrendered 29.3 points per game across 4 straight losses to postseason-bound opponents. If the Texans stay anywhere near their recent offensive level, they are well positioned to put real pressure on that average and add another game to the list where the Steelers concede a healthy total. Houston's strongest offensive edge in this matchup comes from the air. Their passing game is their top weapon, and they get to attack a Steelers pass defense that sits near the bottom of the league. Pittsburgh has allowed 22 or more points in 6 of their past 9 games, which tells you they often let contests drift into ranges that are friendly to overbettors, especially when facing competent quarterbacks. On the other side of the ball, Pittsburgh's offense has quietly been in its best stretch of the season, which matters for the total even if you have concerns about them covering the spread. They have averaged 23 points over their past 5 games and have scored 26 or more points in 4 of those 5, including that 26-point outing in the crucial win over the Ravens. If that form carries into this game, they do not need to be spectacular, only respectable, to help push the number over. There are also trend-based nudges that point the same way. This is the lowest posted total among the playoff games on the board, which already bakes in respect for the Houston defense. At the same time, the over is 4-2 in the Texans' last 6 matchups with American Football Conference North opponents, a small but relevant reminder that their games can climb higher when they face this style of physical opponent. So while the Houston defense is a big reason this number is as low as it is very reasonable to expect the Texans to still show off on that side of the ball while the Steelers contribute enough points to keep things lively. With Houston's passing strength against a vulnerable secondary and Pittsburgh's recent offensive uptick, the ingredients are in place for a game that lands above the projected total rather than under it. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.